it's a lot of coordination, a lot of organized mess, and you know, every other team can do it. Why can't they convert? You could do it. Like, let me do this. You guys can do it. This is my official plea to all the teams out there. You can run the tush push just like we can.
This is a players-only edition of Birds Huddle presented by Toyota. I'm Jason Avant. This is Barrett Brooks. Barrett, the rest of the league is jealous of the tush push. Are they jealous of Jalen Hurts that the Eagles can do it better than they can?
That's exactly what it is, because they can't do it just because you don't have a 700-pound left side and a quarterback that squats 600 pounds. Don't get all green-eyed and jealous on us. You know, it's your fault. It's your fault. Go draft better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're complaining about false starts.
Come on. I mean,
every play has a false start.
That's like every play is a holding penalty. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they got to chill out with that, man. I'm tired of that. You know, I'm going to get tired of it. But, hey, this is it, man. Players only. We're making it happen. And we're going into our three-point stance presented by Toyota. The Eagles secondary will be tested against the Rams. Jason, you're a receiver, bro. Are these guys pretty good or what, man? Let me know.
These dudes are dominant, and especially, let's start off with Puka Nacua. He plays the receiver position like the rent is due and the light bill just got turned off. The lights just got turned off. He plays with reckless abandon, and he makes you make a full sacrifice. You cannot tackle this guy with arm tackles. You have to put your body in front of him, and he's going to see if you want to play football today.
Yes, sir.
Avant Adams, we know how smooth he is with his route running. He's had some tough matchups in Stingley Jr. and L'Jarius Sneed. And he'll have Quinyon, so he's been mitigated a little bit. But Puka Nacua is the guy that we have to stop. He's caught 18 of 20 of his targets.
And that's crazy because you look at the other guy, he's got double digits, you know, also Adams. And when I look at Adams, I can remember back in the day, for like 6 years straight, he was the best receiver, bar none, in the NFL. Smooth, his route running, how he gets off the ball, how he creates separation, all that stuff. But, hey, that's when he was with Green Bay. So, you know, he's okay. But I don't know, man. We got a pretty good secondary. But then when I look at Puka Nacua, and I remember I called a game when he was with BYU, and I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was that good. Mm-hmm. But you know, when you look at it, those are only two. I think Bigsby's the only guy, you know, that catches passes after that, but everybody else only has 1 or 2 catches. I was looking at the stats, you know, what's his name, Jordan Whittington? He has what? 1 or 2 catches,
yeah.
And then he has, you know, but he does have a touchdown or two. But I think these guys, the base of the offense, they're going to get it going, and that's who, you know, he's going to be going to. So I said, we can shut them 2 down. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford is a baller, can throw it in any window, and then you also have Sean McVay, who schemes these guys open like none other.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, let's get to the second stance. Number 2, the Rams better change up the run defense for Saquon. Saquon went nuts the first 2 games that they played. Barrett, do you expect the Rams to sell out to stop Saquon?
They're going to have to, you know, because he's had over 210 yards, over 210 yards, you know, against the what? See, there it is right there. 255 yards and then 205 in the playoffs. He ran all over everybody. But against just the Rams themselves in the preseason the postseason and the regular season, he had over 200 yards against them by themselves. We're talking about a team that couldn't stop him whatsoever, and I think that's really what we're going to have to do this game. He has to show that, you know, they're going to try to blitz him, and then when I say blitz him, they're going to run blitz him, try to fill up every gap. But once he gets past those guys, it can be a big play for him. I can see this being a long game with them trying to stop him, but I just can't see them doing it consistently every single time because there's other teams that have success on them. I look at Nick Chubb. He had a pretty good game against them, you know, the Titans. And then you look at, the Titans. They had Pollard. Tony Pollard had a really good game against them. They couldn't stop him from running. So can they stop this team with this offensive line, with their mindset? I don't think so. And then with Dallas Goedert coming back, you'll see a much better run game with Dallas being there and them being able to push guys off the ball.
If I'm the Rams, I am stacking everybody at the line of scrimmage until Jalen Hurts, the receivers, and offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo shows the league that they can go out and be someone that needs to be worried about in the pass game. They haven't done that. Jalen Hurts, 253 yards passing with no touchdowns in the first 2 games. These guys have to step up their game. Otherwise, everyone's going to play Saquon this entire season.
Oh, no question. You know, but I do think that, you know, Jordan Davis coming into his own now. being a guy that, teaching these other guys, they're going to do this to you. They're going to do that to you. And then when you look at, Carter going against those guys, even in practice every day, pushing those guys off the ball, it'll be easy going against their interior as opposed to going against a 360-pound. Well, he's now here's a 330-pound guy and a guy that's 325 pounds in our guys. So once you're practicing against those type of guys, and Davis giving them, that type of looks every single day, and Carter giving them looks, I think it gets easier. When I played with the Steelers, the same thing. We played against the best, so when we got in the game, it was easier because we already did that. So when you have those type of guys that you're practicing every day, I think it becomes, better tool for you to get better as you go on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, hey, let's go on to number 3. Number 3, all eyes will be on Jalen, Carter this Sunday. Vic Fangio called him out. Carter said Carter needs to get in better shape. Yes, we understand that he needs to get in better shape. But is that how you handle a young guy? Well, he's not a young guy, but a guy like him, will he be able to accept that message from Vic Fangio?
This is a Jedi mind trick by Vic Fangio. It's a volatile time for Jalen Carter, especially what happened against the Cowboys. So now, as Jalen Carter, you got to understand who's talking to you. It's Vic Fangio. He wants the best for you. He made you the focal point of the defense. So don't take it personally. Know that he's doing it out of love and he's trying to motivate you. And plus, you have a lot of pressure on you, so you can't act up in any way. Otherwise, people are going to look at you in a bad light. So just take it as, motivation for this game and go out and dominate. He's doing it because you're the only way that we're going to be able to stop Matthew Stafford in this passing attack.
You're absolutely right. And when I look at it, that's just, the older statesman. This is a guy that he respects. Because if he didn't respect, he wouldn't have got as good as he does last season. He played a dominant role last season. He was the best player on the defense last season. Coming into this year, he saw some signs. Because, like I said, everybody said, he played like he was out of shape. No, he didn't play like he was all the way out of shape. Because the plays that he was impact on, he was whooping whoever was in front of him. He was killing people. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't see him as being that much out of shape. When he was walking to the sideline, I saw him being out of shape, or he's sitting there staying out of shape. But every time that ball was snapped, he was going 100 miles an hour. Now, you say what you want to say. I didn't think he was that bad, as far as how, his conditioning. But if he gets more and more conditioned, I know, he took some little more time to go out there and run some extra sprints and things of that nature. And we understand, just like you said, a Jedi mind trick by Vic Fangio. But at the end of the day, that kid is ready. He was whooping tail out there. A lot of those mistakes that they had were directly caused because of him. He still got double teamed the entire day. And I think he got one time when he went one-on-one against the center, and he destroyed him. Absolutely destroyed him. On that 4th down when they went for it, he's the one that caused it. They tried to block him man-on-man with a center. He destroyed him, pushed him back into the play. He blocked the pulling guard from getting down. He blocked the tight end from getting to his block. That's why everything blew up. So, that's what you need, a guy like that to really blow things up. And he's going to be that guy for him this year. And once he gets in even better shape, he's going to be even more of a monster.
Yeah, Vic Fangio knows his potential.
Absolutely.
Time for the playbook presented by Supercuts. Last season, Jared Verse hated the Eagles fans, and they let him have it. We'll talk about a fun rivalry brewing between these two teams. This is the Birds Huddle presented by Toyota, the official automotive sponsor for the NFL.
We're back with Up to the Challenge, presented by First Trust Bank, official bank of the Eagles. It's going to be a big challenge for the Eagles defense on Sunday. Matthew Stafford has thrown for 270 yards a game so far this season. He's completed 71% of the passes. Time now to welcome former Rams and Buccaneers linebacker Cam Lynch for the Los Angeles perspective on Sunday's game. Cam, do you think the Rams have revenge on their minds with the Eagles after the way they ended the season in the playoffs last year?
Oh, yeah, fellas, it's going to be a battle this week. I know the Rams are licking their chops. I know the Rams are 2-0. The Eagles are 2-0. It's a revenge game. Jared Verse not only has to play against 11 players on the offense, but also the fans. I know they had
right.
Some big boos from last game, so I expect him to show out. Byron Young has been balling out for this Rams defensive line, and so now it's time for Jared Verse to figure it out. He hasn't had too many sacks or pressures, but I hope he has some this week.
Matthew Stafford has been a baller to me on tape. What makes Matthew Stafford one of those elite quarterbacks in the National Football League, and where do you rank him?
Yeah, so right now I rank Matthew Stafford at number 5. I rank Baker Mayfield at number 6. He's played for the Bucs, so Stafford's at number 5. But Jalen Hurts is up there at number 1 or number 2, right? You got, of course, your Lamar Jacksons and your Josh Allens, but I see Jalen Hurts up there with the Patrick Mahomes as well. But what Matthew Stafford does so well, what I've seen is his fourth quarter gameplay. We've been starting out slow this past year, right? Houston Texans started off a little bit slow. I was like, is his back hurting too much? Him not playing the preseason, was that an issue? Started with the Titans, he started off slow, but then that second half, fellas, he starts to heat up a little bit. And so I think for this game, Matthew Stafford's going to have to start off really fast from the beginning of the game. He's going to have to throw that football and then run the ball really well. I think that's going to be the best way for him. But you see some of those highlights, those no-look passes. Hopefully he can pull some off this week.
You talk about running the ball, and you look at it, Kyron Williams is the guy that, gets everything going. And they have to run play action to really push the ball down the field. What decided advantage do you think they have over this defense? We have, 2 really good young cornerbacks. Really good cornerbacks. Both Coop, and Quinyon are probably tops at their position, or at least top 3 at their positions. Going against your guys, they're pretty good.
Yeah. I think we talk about the run game with Kyron Williams. Last year, what I saw is Kyron Williams fumbled the football a lot against the Eagles. Yep. And so he's going to have that in his mind. I'm sure Sean McVay's like, hey, we need to protect the football. I think he fumbled twice in the first game and then once in the second game. And so he's going to have to clean up his protection. But then also, we drafted Blake Corum. And so I think this week we're going to have to insert Blake Corum. And so you mentioned some of the good corners. A lot of times I feel like with running backs in the run game, you have to figure out how to get to the outside to wear those cornerbacks down. So then in the pass game, they're a little bit more sluggish, they're a little bit more tired. But like you mentioned, those 2 outstanding cornerbacks for the Eagles are going to show up. I think when it comes to our receivers for the Rams, Avant and Nacua, we're going to have to figure out other ways to get other guys the football. So your Tutu Atwells, your Jordan Whittingtons, and then even your tight ends and Tyler Higbee and Dennis Allen. So finding ways to spread the ball around and, like I said, get started in the first quarter, running the football with Kyron, and then throwing Blake Corum in as well.
Sean McVay comes across as this fun-loving coach, but you can't always be fun. How does he have a command the way that he has with the persona that he has? He has to be hard-nosed, and the guys fight for him at times. So can you explain Sean McVay to us?
Yeah, it's almost like don't let the smile fool you. He's smiling, he's joking, he's having a good time, but he knows how to turn it up. And I think just his intensity. I played for him actually when I first went from the Buccaneers to the Rams. It was versus the Eagles actually, and unfortunately that's when Carson Wentz got hurt. I remember it like it was yesterday. I know Mark Barrett hit him at the goal line. He got hurt. I feel like it changed his career for a long time. But now he's about to start for the Vikings, so that's good for Carson Wentz. But just with Sean McVay, what I enjoyed about him most in the locker room is he paints the picture for you. And so when Aaron Donald was there, when Todd Gurley was there, he'd say, hey, Aaron this week is about to have about 3 sacks this week. Todd, you're about to go for 140 yards, run 2 touchdowns. And so he believes in you more than sometimes you believe in yourself. And someone mentioned this during a podcast that Sean McVay not only lifts up his players but also his coaches. And just imagine what he does to the people in the front office or for the chefs or for the athletic trainers. And so he's one of the best leaders that I've been around. And he's a young guy. He still has a lot of football left in him. But I wouldn't want to play for anybody else but Sean McVay.
I'm going to say, let me ask this, man. I'm just going to keep it 100, man. At the end of the day, that defense of yours, especially the way they talk, man. Verse, he started off talking, and our fans were like, irate about it, But that defense has looked pretty good. You got Young rushing the passer. They got guys that can mix it up a little bit, How can they handle this big offensive line and then the receivers that we have on the outside? Talk about, a tandem that's pretty good. I think A.J. Brown and, Devontae Smith are pretty good also.
Yeah, I think that's going to, and you mentioned, I heard Dallas Goedert as well coming back. There's a triple threat in that. And then not only the backfield with Saquon and Jalen Hurts, when you talk about handling some of these receivers, what that looks like, we had a Keller Witherspoon go down, so Emmanuel Forbes is back up. I heard you all talking about it earlier. You guys got Emmanuel Forbes fired from the Washington football team. And so what I think is going to be important in this game is to make sure that, of course, we lock down the run game, make sure that Jalen Hurts doesn't go off, making sure that the Ram killer and Saquon Barkley doesn't go off. We have Nate Landman, a linebacker from the Falcons, to answer for that. He's been clutch in these past few games. In the fourth quarter, if you guys take a look, he's punched the football out against the Texans, against my guy Dare Ogunbowale, to seal the game. And then he also recovered a fumble against the Titans and kind of sealed that game as well. And so we have somebody to answer for that run game. Puna Ford, I know you guys talked about it earlier, to beef up that front. But then even on the outsides to even stop that receiver room, which is kind of quiet right now. And that's what scares me the most, to be honest, as a Rams fan, is like you got some of the 2 top receivers in the NFL. You're probably top 5, top 10, and they haven't went off yet. And so I'm just hoping this isn't the game to do it. But if I'm Chris Shula, who's his second year as defensive coordinator, I'm making sure that I'm doubling those guys and make sure I have eyes on Dallas Goedert as well.
All right, real quick, man, who you say wins, man? Who you picking?
I gotta keep it real. If I'm a betting man, I'm gonna probably bet and put my money on the Eagles just from their lineage and what they've done.
Right.
But since I'm a Ram, you guys play for the Eagles. I'm going Rams 24-21.
All right, man. Way to keep it 100 with us. Hey, Cam, thanks for joining us here on Birds Huddle. We really appreciate it. And at this point, we're going to talk defense when we come back. Will the Birds finally figure out how to get A.J. Brown involved? This is Birds Huddle, Players Only Edition.